Happy New Year to you all. Hello there, I'm Sandra Sully. As the curtain comes down on another year, it's a time to reflect on some of the things that have made a difference in 2007. Later, we'll look at an extraordinary political year. Celebrities stealing the headlines for all the wrong reasons. And a wild ride through the year's best in sport. So stay with us for a flashback of what was 07.
One on the corner there.
Entire farms have been left with nothing but burnt pastures.
As 60-kilometre-an-hour winds pushed it onto small mining towns.
Abalone diver Eric Nurhoos is making a good recovery. He was swallowed head first down to his chest by the great white, but the shark spat him back out.
I've never felt fear in my life like what I felt in the jaws of that white rhino.
Tensions remain strained after dozens of police were called in to break up the fight.
With a deafening salute, Queen Mary II greeted her sister Queen Elizabeth II in Australia for the first time together.
So as Dick Cheney and his entourage went to lunch with John Howard and his senior ministers at Kirribilli House, a traffic nightmare was left in his wake.
It is a kayak, it appears. It's a red kayak.
The Boeing 737-400 engulfed in flames and thick smoke. The Prime Minister learnt of the crash by phone while attending a lunch in Melbourne.
The casket of Morgan Mellish, the first to touch home soil. Alexander Downer distraught at the deaths. 2 of those killed worked for his department. A moment of reflection for the families, leaving many overcome with grief.
135 people were killed, making it the worst single bombing since the US-led invasion in 2003.
Ferocious winds flung accommodation huts across the site like cardboard boxes.
A car had broken down, a truck slamming into it. 3 people in separate cars killed as they were caught in a wave of fire, smoke and molten metal.
As the pleasure craft and the Panbarage Harbour Cat collided, witnesses heard a massive bang. Emergency crews rushing to help the living as they were brought to shore one by one. Amidst the wreckage, there were 3 bodies.
Now you see it, now you don't.
A mass of yellow hats stretching as far as the eye could see.
I'm 75, I'm as old as a bridge.
More than 5,000 people have been left homeless, forced to scrounge for supplies just to put a roof over their heads.
Whoa! The terrifying sound of lives being lost, captured on a student's mobile phone camera. When the shooting stopped, another 31 people were dead, including the gunman who had taken his own life.
Thanks to you, I died like Jesus Christ.
Ready to winch out? Clear to winch. Roger, winching out.
On board, it was a surprisingly normal scene. The motor running, computers on, the table set with cutlery and food.
Mother Mary and Father Frederick showing off their new daughter.
Madeleine McCann was snatched from her bed in a Portuguese resort.
I cannot think about going home without Madeleine.
Any genuine information that you have, please help us.
Judgment Day for gangland kingpin Carl Williams.
He's evil. And he's still breathing.
Convicted terrorism supporter David Hicks is tonight settling into his new cell.
Catherine has returned to the hospital where she was left in a cardboard box on Saturday night.
How could you abandon a little baby?
A bad wig and a miserable mugshot for Tony Mockbell. The gangland boss's arrest in Athens, ending 15 months on the run.
At least 11 people are dead and more than 20 others are injured after Australia's worst rail crash in 30 years.
Coming towards the train and it wasn't going to stop when I screamed.
Gale force winds and torrential rain. The impact so quick it caught Newcastle and even its emergency services by surprise.
0.6 of a metre, so they say.
A family of 5 plunged to their death when a highway collapsed on the Central Coast, and 2 people were killed when their 4-wheel drive was washed off a bridge.
The Pasha Bulka, a 40,000-tonne coal carrier, was thrown against a stretch of reef. So conditions are going to deteriorate through the night, and no idea of what it'll be like tomorrow.
A city locked down as a body lies on the road. Hundreds saw the shooting as they arrived for work.
He just pulled his gun out of his pants. Started shooting.
I wish everyone, friend or foe, well, and that is the end.
The day when terrorism returned to London, there were to have been at least 2 coordinating attacks.
A deliberate attempt to drive a car into a packed British airport and
blow it up.
Dr. Mohammed Hanif, who's been called a model citizen, was arrested overnight trying to flee the country.
He fails the character test.
A hero's welcome for the 27-year-old as he returned to his Bangalore home in southern India.
The massive explosion ripped apart a busy Manhattan street, sparking chaos and fears of another terrorist attack.
The massive inland sea central England has become.
So nobody can get out, nobody can get in.
Whenever I fall.
To us, just two loving children, she was quite simply the best mother in the world.
I'm not one of those who can easily hide.
The entire span of the bridge collapsed into the Mississippi River without warning. Helpless people in dozens of vehicles sent plunging into the water.
This is the news that the thoroughbred industry had been dreading. First positive result that the thoroughbred racing industry has returned.
An iron curtain has fallen. No horse will be leaving the quarantine premises.
Snipers in the air on the Opera House are the heaviest security ever seen in Sydney.
Looking forward to some Australian hits.
He's back, I said!
Under arrest and facing up to 6 months jail, the stars of the Chasers war on everything.
This is when they got a bit suspicious.
But first, police have been stunned by the callous actions of a man who has abandoned a 3-year-old girl at a busy train station.
The body of an Asian female has been found in the boot.
Already in the last few hours, Burmese security forces have pulled hundreds of monks from their beds, trying to head off the 10th day of protests.
Amateur video captured the first fiery moments after the crash of the Thai airline.
Kate McCann arrived at Portuguese police headquarters to the sound of hisses and jeers from the crowd. She and Dr. husband Jerry both been officially named as suspects.
Singapore 380, Air Services Australia welcomes you to Sydney, runway 34 left.
1,000 residents were forced to evacuate the area.
Here they've just crossed over a ridge and are now threatening these homes.
It's nearly 10 when Diana and Dodie return. The paparazzi crowd in. Hotel staff struggle to contain them. Diana tries to conceal her face. But a few minutes later, amid the wreckage of a black Mercedes, two of them, Dodie Fayed and Henri Paul, were dead, and Diana, Princess of Wales, lay dying.
A grieving community unleashes its anger on an accused baby killer. It took police less than 4 days to identify the 2-year-old and charge the mother with murder.
I just lost my son, which I'm never going to see again.
This is a tragic day for the Australian Defence Force.
To a grateful nation, Trooper David Pearce is a fallen hero.
SAS Patrol Commander Sergeant Matthew Locke killed in combat yesterday.
The nation today has lost a genuine hero.
A glue used in the popular toy found to contain a chemical that turns into illegal drug GHB.
Bernie used his God-given gifts to secure justice for thousands of people against the greed of corporate giants.
Bernie not just a starter, but a finisher. An expression we heard often. Get the job done.
After 32 years, finally the truth for relatives of the Balibo 5. Killed so they wouldn't report Indonesia's involvement in the battle.
Panicked students running for their lives. Scenes America knows well, but this is unfamiliar for Finland.
Neighbours call it a house of horrors.
Docs never came around. They never helped us.
She died on Saturday of suspected starvation.
Luke was the first man of the team through the door and was met by enemy forces that opened fire at close range, resulting in Luke being killed almost instantly.
The MS Explorer's voyage at an end after smashing into an iceberg.
Lifeboats in fairly rough seas.
A 10-year-old girl pack-raped by 9 men. All pleaded guilty, not one will spend a day in jail. Cairns judge Sarah Bradley ruled the girl involved probably agreed to have sex with all of you, but she needs to be protected.
The tragic death of a baby boy whose body was found dumped in a paddock. Detectives are interviewing the infant's mother, who has been receiving medical treatment. Others have also been questioned.
That Australia will move to immediately ratify the Kyoto Protocol.
The body of Benazir Bhutto, the Pakistani opposition leader, is being taken back to her hometown tonight, hours after she was assassinated.
Free at last. David Hicks couldn't help but smile as he left South Australia's maximum security jail.
I will not forget or let you down.